Good evening, fellow ghouls and specters alike. It's your ghost host with the most, Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5, here to engage in some haunted holiday hijinks by trudging through the catacombs and dusting off the cobwebs to recount our spooky selection of Halloween classics.
So light the jack-o'-lantern, suit up, and grab the candy dish as we revive and recount tonight's spooky selection, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Season 4, Episode 7, Hex and the Single Guy! Now this is a story, hear it loud, about how my life got turned upside down. That's how much I don't know Fresh Prince is that I even messed up that. Jesus.
Right.
Okay, so Dragon, that's gonna lead right into my thesis. I am about as pun not intended at all. There's just no way to describe it otherwise. I am fresh to Fresh Prince, Dragon. I don't think I've seen nary an episode. I know of it mostly through pop culture osmosis. You know, I know the hits. I know the Carlton dance. I know the the big Will's dad episode. I know the Uncle Phil of it all. But I mean, generally speaking, Dragon, this, honest to God, I'm not even kidding. This might be the very first Fresh Prince episode that I actually have sat down and watched from beginning to end. Like, it really is just a blank spot on my pop culture resume. It really is. And something to say, I get the hype. I mean, goddamn, young Will Smith is just, I mean,
he's on fire, right?
He bleeds charisma, Dragon.
Yeah.
I mean, and not only that, but it just really feels like this whole show. Like, I was taken aback. Like, I don't know how through pop culture osmosis I did not know that this family had a snarky butler, but hey, snarky butler.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and Carlton, he's as amazing as everyone hypes him up to be. Dragon, I might have to comfort watch this show. I might.
I told you, it's a really good show.
Yeah, I think I might have to do it as a comfort binge.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, Dragon, I mean, something to say, I was probably lost on one or two plot elements of, who this long-lost boyfriend character is, who seems to be the predecessor to Buckley from King of the Hill.
Well, I did loop you in a little bit on this.
But other than that, it's, I was able to follow this quite well, and, the whole "it was all a dream" feels very Goosebumps-esque. It's a very Goosebumps twist ending, and I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, it all really does come down to just the charisma of young Will Smith. I mean, he's just absolutely on fire.
Yeah. So yeah, honestly, this was always one of my absolute favorite Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episodes. I love this episode. I always have. I love the show. One of the great sitcoms. It had its relevant episodes, but also had its utterly hilarious episodes, and this is the latter. At this point, season 4, they're in the groove. They know how it goes. They're kind of resting on the laurels, but in a good way of like, okay, we know how this show works, and just watch us play the keys, man. It's going to be great. And of course, along the way, what's great about this episode is that it inverts the classic runners of the show, or some of the great kind of patented kind of staples of the show as far as running gags and characterization goes. We flip it on its head, which is the reason I love this episode so much. It's like we take this kind of the patent, oh yeah, we know this one, but like, oh, the Hex. Background, there's really not a lot of. Basically, that's I'll remind you, and probably do it during the episode too, about the whole Trevor thing. So. Yeah, this is season 4, episode 7, I believe 7. HBO Max, all the episodes gummed up, so no one really... Now,
I just want to know, how big of a character was this Trevor person?
Okay, if I recall, because that's the thing, I don't know if HBO Max jumbled the episodes or not, because they've jumbled everything else. I'm assuming it went this way as well, but regardless... Regardless, so Trevor was introduced, I want to say, at least through season 3. So here's the
Oh
deal.
wow, okay.
I mean, he was around for a number of episodes, just as like the ancillary recurring boyfriend role. I mean,
Again, it sounds very much like Buckley from King of the Hill.
let me be very clear. This guy, he was not like a main character. He was just like, oh, Hillary has a boyfriend. So,
Uh-huh.
so okay, so here's the deal. So Trevor Collins, his full name. So Trevor, he was kind of this fun, kind of parody almost of Ted Knight's, Ted Baxter character from Mary Tyler Moore, where he was the dumb newsman.
Gotcha.
So he literally the voice that he put on for the role sounded. We do an impression of him in the episode. Glenn Shaddix does an impression of Trevor. It's spot on because that's what that actor did. He did like oh, anything you need, Lou. Link Hogthrob from the Muppets. That's very much Ted Knight. So that's exactly what that voice sounds like. So it's just like, and I missed you too. So it just was this bumbling, good-looking, but dumb as an ox, which made him a perfect match for Hillary, who was it was just a shallow, just kind of just nothing going on. Lights are on, but nobody's home. Very valley girl, if you will. So anyway, Trevor here, he died in the 4th season. I believe it was in the 4th season, probably because this is episode 7. It probably happened towards the top of the season, if not maybe the end of the 3rd season, where Trevor proposed to Hillary and he wanted to make a big show of it. So while he was doing a news report while bungee jumping, he he jumped off the bridge, and basically on the way down, this is one of the great moments, the all-time, like one of the Hall of Famers for Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where you saw the reactions of all the characters gathered around the TV as you heard, Hillary Banks, will you marry Splat? and it was just this hilarious, shocking moment in television history where, oh my God, we killed off big characters, essentially fiancés. So this is kind of coming off of that. So that's kind of where the Trevor of it all is. Not a big character, but she had a boyfriend that was getting kind of serious, and we killed him off because honestly if we marry her off, we don't really have much to do with her. So that's kind of why that happened. Other thing to mention, the only other thing to mention really is that we have a really great guest star this episode. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is known for having really great guest stars. In this case, we have the incomparable Glenn Shaddix, man. Frickin' Shaddix. As our psychic, Scorpius. Which, fun fact, Glenn Shaddix's big breakout role was Beetlejuice, and he pretty much played like a medium in that. He somewhat played a medium in that role, kind of a man of many traits. Who the one for that movie was, he conjured the ghost, Otho. Otho.
It's funny that you mentioned Beetlejuice because I've kind of become obsessed with the Broadway play of that.
Yeah, I rewatched the movie recently for Halloween.
The Broadway play is so good.
Good to know.
Right.
Also, for the kids, Glenn Shaddix, the mayor in Nightmare Before Christmas, with the 2 heads.
Oh yeah, classic role, sure.
Okay, all that said, let's start.
Okay.
All right, so it's breakfast at the Banks mansion, and they're preparing for Halloween. Jeffrey's carving the pumpkin. Will's wishing everyone a happy Halloween.
Will just like walking in his pajamas. It's just right away. It's just like, hey everyone, happy Halloween. It's like, all right, Will Smith, just the charm meter just off the charts already.
Oh yeah, take it seriously. Will Smith was so he's done so much obviously, and he's mature, and he's still really good, but he was just utterly in his prime between Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and I believe I forget if it was still running, but I think it had to be either it was in his last season or had just wrapped up Men in Black. That's your prime Will Smith, right?
I think Men in Black was like peak Will Smith. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like that's the peak Will Smith, which may have been in midst or right after Fresh Prince. So that's kind of your prime Will Smith right there. And this is kind of getting to that point towards midway in the run, I guess. So yeah, he's just walking in there. So then we have Uncle Phil question. He's going through the bills and he's like, Vivian, what's this $2,000 for flowers business? He says, oh, it says Trevor's perpetual care. I believe perpetual care in this case means the flowers get put on the grave and everything like monthly. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think that's what that means. I don't think it's like healthcare because that'd be ridiculous. So,
Yes, that would be
yeah, that's what
ridiculous.
I'm saying. Like when you think professional care, I'm thinking of that, but like, no, I can't possibly be.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's cemetery upkeep.
Yeah, it has to be. So,
Yeah.
so we learned that it's been 2 months since the events occurred. Where Trevor's bungee death proposal went wrong, and again, we have some great macabre humor at the top here in our cold open, which is going to be very important later.
Uh-huh.
I love that. I love how this all pays off wonderfully. So, oh man, yeah, Hillary was crushed. Well, not anymore than Trevor.
Oh God.
Let's see. So Uncle Phil, he's okay, let's see. Oh, that's the old bank's resilience at play here. She'll bounce right back from that. The old bank's resilience. She'll be back to normal. And of course, whatever that is, says Jeffrey again. All set up, folks. All set up. Under your nose. He's like, oh, this is the classy. This is some of that good Fresh Prince dialogue. It's a clue.
And so, big moment. She comes into the room. Hi, guys. Guess who I'm going out on a date with tonight?
Who, sweetheart?
Trevor! Oh, God, and you're right, Dragon. I love how that comes back.
Oh, God, I love it. Of course, then we have the patented intro, which everyone and the mother knows. So then Will, cutting back from our cold open, Will tries to delicately phrase the question that all of us are wondering, but he just kind of gives up on
Katie Trevor. Oh gosh, how do I put this gently?
I can't put it gently. The man is dead.
He's dead.
Just the man is dead. And Carl, I love, of course, seriously, Tiki. The reason I watch Fresh Prince, the cast is superb. I mean, Alfonso Ribeiro.
I get the sense, man. Like I said, I don't know how in my pop culture osmosis I did not know that they had a snarky butler. I don't know how that's...
Yeah, not only that, if I recall, I'm pretty sure I do, Jeffrey's last name is Butler, Jeffrey Butler.
That's great.
Which is even funnier. And he is snarky from start to finish. And he gets snarkier as it goes along, which is even better. So again, this between Alfonso Ribeiro and James Avery. James Avery was a gift to this show, man.
James Avery is obviously like besides Will Smith, the person that I kind of hear the most of. Yeah. But then Carlton is kind of like a pop culture icon in his own right. He is. Like I see that Carlton dancing gif everywhere.
God, and he kind of gets broader as the show goes along, but it's not like one of those things that drags. It's like no, it's so much better.
It's like the good type of broad.
Yes, it's like Kramer from Seinfeld. Before Kramer came into prominence, one could say. Anyway, so the man is. I'm sorry. After the man says Carlton is sure that there's a rational explanation here for what Hillary has going on. I'm having a seance with a TV psychic, and all right, I owe you one. Okay, I owe you one. It's really cool too, is that Will and Carlton are roommates in the pool house at this point in time. That's why that's where the ending comes from. All right, so
exposition. His name is Scorpius.
Yes, and she spent $300 not on the seance, but for a hat for the seance. And
that kills me. The price gouging in this kills me.
Well, there's price gouging all over the place with this girl. She's always buying stuff through. But she is affluent though, and she spent like $1,000 to put the seance, which is $1,000, on Daddy's gold card. But this is what touches me, man. Even in like the really farcical, hilarious episodes, it's like good old Philip Banks, man, giving his daughter closure for the tragedy that she's incurred. Like, he'll foot the bill. He's a nice guy like that,
Sure.
All right, so Will's is, oh, man, it'd be cheaper to dig him up. All right, let's
honestly,
see.
Logistically, I wouldn't argue with that.
That was a good thing it wasn't cremated. You need like a magnifying glass and some...
Oh, God.
Tweezers.
Could you imagine if the episode was them digging up the body instead of this?
It'd be a little morbid, Tiki, but
I'm saying if SpongeBob could get away with something like that.
Well, yeah, but they weren't dead in SpongeBob. Though.
That's true. That's true.
Well, then again, they were kind of they come to life in that hat episode, so maybe you're right. I don't know. Anyway, so she needs 4 loved ones for the seance, and basically our men they don't want in on this. Like, no, like, I love this other. They all kind of suddenly chain together and team up here, of like, I gotta work on my costume. I'll help. Me too.
Doesn't the butler say something like, "Well, I'm glad I'm not considered a loved one"?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's out of it too. It's just like, yeah, well, I'm not. I'm glad I'm not a loved one.
This guy just seems like he's Alfred if Alfred didn't give a shit.
Exactly. That's, you hit it right on the nose. Yeah. He has his moments though. He has his wonderfully heartfelt moments, but on the whole though, he just he's a snarky. Like if Alfred's snarkiest, this guy's a 10.
Uh-huh.
All right, so let's see. So Uncle Phil here, he oh god, so he shuts down this. There's this gag here where things were up in the air with Trevor. And I love as Will's about to make a snarky or like a crass remark, and then Phil just looks at him and just shuts him down immediately. Don't, come on, it's too easy. Don't. All right, so then again, they all make it with the excuses. Then Vivian lays on the guilt, lays on the tears. I'm the only one who cares.
This is perfect, man. My mother does this shit.
Oh yeah. It's like, no one cares for the way I do. And then, of course, there's Will Smith just being brilliant here. Just see him quiver. You see him break down. I do my costume. I'll go to my party later. I'll go, Aunt Viv. So then, of course, goes to Phil. Or he's going to go in. And then we have the MVP of the scene here, Carlton. What is Carlton's response?
Cut into my trick-or-treating.
I got my trick-or-treating time.
God, Carlton is just like the proverbial man-child, I think.
He is indeed. All right, so then...
not to mention, like, a trailblazer in the black nerd department.
Absolutely. One could say the original, to a degree. All right, so Ashley, so we have a teaching moment for Ashley's reveal. Vivian she turned on the waterworks to guilt him. She's not upset at all. All right, so later, it's getting closer. So again, all this takes place on Halloween, the night itself. So Jeffrey loves trick-or-treaters on Halloween.
Oh man, this might be like the MVP gag of the whole thing, man.
Yeah, remember in Long Halloween where Alfred actually relishes in the trick-or-treaters? This is the opposite.
Yes.
This is more like Steel.
This is like the slightly mean-spirited version of that.
Yeah, this is, I mean, the Butler thing I like to use that for the equivocation, but the actual thing it reminds me of is Steely Phil from Hey Arnold, the way he responds to
it's totally Steely Phil, for sure, I can see that.
Yeah, with the worms and cockroaches, only less disgusting. All right, so the Jeffrey's just going on about, I love trick-or-treaters, and he's wearing this giant, like, faux dinosaur.
He's, like, practically skipping to the door.
Yes, he's so eager. He's wearing this giant, like, rubber dinosaur head, and he just goes over, and the guys, like, scares him away. And they all flee, and it's like, oh, Jeffrey, Halloween's for...
Hey, you forgot your candy!
You forgot your candy! So Vivian's like, it's like, oh, Jeffrey, come on, Halloween's for the kids. It's just like, tell it to Bonnie. But they can tell it to Bonnie. All right, so what is Will dressed as, Tiki?
He's oh God. Well, I mean, to do a running gag, Dragon. He's in his not necessarily Dracula, but he's in his vampire fineries.
Yep.
Kind of like a black cape with a red trim.
Oh yeah, and he's trying to scare people. At this point, no dice, but that's going to change. No dice with Ashley. So then we have
really pointed social commentary that like still holds up today.
And the show, T. That's the amazing thing. The show has not. The show holds up tremendously well with that sort of stuff in terms of all
Will's
the social...
like, I love Halloween. It's the one day a man like me can go out on the street wearing a mask and not get arrested.
Yeah.
And
one
of
night
course,
a year.
in light of COVID times,
Oh, yeah, sure, that too. So Carlton returns from trick-or-treating. He scored like 26 Milky Ways or something.
Oh my God, his costume is just fucking amazing.
He's dressed... Tiki, do you remember what he is dressed as?
Of course I remember what he's dressed as.
Macaulay Culkin. And Tiki, why Macaulay Culkin?
I don't remember the exact reason. Because he's my idol, basically, right?
Yeah, because he's my idol, not just the reason he's his idol.
Grossed over $500 million worldwide.
And he's won.
Not to mention, I think he's one heck of an actor.
God, just like the.
I just want to mention, like, the Chris's of the MCU of the MCU just look at that 500 million worldwide and they're like, "Oh, that's cute, Carlton. That's cute. That's adorable."
Also, I like that he had like a bit too about who says we're in like a recession or something. Where just Carlton, it's the inner yuppie and the preppy and Carlton coming out right there. Just it's just I love that like on one side with the trick or treating with like 26 Milky Ways, it's like it's the yuppie meets the just the inspiring sweetness and loveliness of this wonderfully childlike character. It's just kind of like a great blend. Also, I'm gonna go throw this in there because Fresh Prince again. I don't think this is fully. This is not. I don't think this is truly intentional. But you know what? It's something to appreciate. Colorblind costuming. It's like it's like
totally,
Dwayne.
Totally.
I always recall Dwayne McDuffie dreaming of one day, and we'll have like white kids dressing up like Static for Halloween, and we kind of right now what we have is like we have white kids dressing up like Black Panther for Halloween. That's really cool. So we're kind of doing it kind of early here with Carlton going as Macaulay Culkin. He believes he is Macaulay Culkin, and he's selling it, especially later.
I mean, I think black kids going as white kids is cooler than the other way around, but I digress.
Well, still, but you can't fault a white kid for wanting to be Black Panther because that's awesome. Because
I'm just saying there's a certain level of like I feel like that's a cultural thing. Like I don't.
Well, sure, but the point being the point being it's progress, which is nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like Static Shock is maybe that's where I get a little bit like okay guys, like. Because Black Panther, it's like you have the costume, so that's okay. Yeah. But Static is like a proverbially African-American character.
Sure.
I don't want to get into an argument over costumes.
All right, it's fine. My point being it was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's see. So, let's see. Hillary doesn't want to keep Trevor waiting. Of course, it's not like he's going anywhere. So we arrive at Scorpius's house. Now I love the detail of like the fog machine and the cobwebs and everything.
Yes.
Just Philip saying, "Oh, I hate this LA smog." All right, so then Will has the big jump scare, and again the charisma just comes out here. Like,
I'm sorry, I'm stupid.
Just lovely, just great. So this is great. So we have a bunch of psychic reading gags here, where we have like all the ambiance and like the little you hit a switch and it does something kind of psychic to the room. Like, hey, the doors open automatically. It says, "Oh, we need one of these in the girls' locker room." Am I right?
Oh, that's a gag that would not age well.
That's true. I mean, yeah, that's the one. Let me put it this way. I think all the
calling it like I see it.
Let me put it this way. Fresh Prince's social commentary has held up tremendously well.
Some of the humor that's not really supposed to be social commentary maybe hasn't.
Yeah, like maybe like Will's Will the ladies' man. I'm sure gets a little. Well, to be fair, all the sitcoms have suffered that blow in recent years. Let's be honest. They all.
Of course, yeah.
You have a character who's a ladies' man. Traditionally, every sitcom likes to have at least one of those characters. Yeah, things are probably not going to age well, which, unfortunately...
I feel like Joey's kind of gotten off scot-free, though.
Yeah, because Joey's adorable.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
No one's got a problem with Joey.
Honestly, I'd argue Will Smith could coast along, because, again, there's a lot of that...
Yeah, totally.
He could probably buy it, too. I'm saying, it's... Yeah, and Seinfeld's self-aware of the fact, so I think they're exempt of that too because they know they're kind of awful people for just for being. I mean,
that's the whole gag of the show is that they're awful people.
Exactly, It's the fact that as they just kind of call it. None of these relationships are going to last the episode. It's like they know. Anyway, all right. So Scorpius' house. Then we are introduced again to the wonderful Glenn Shaddix as Scorpius here again. A little lovely nod to Beetlejuice and Glenn Shaddix. He didn't do so many movies. He at a certain point he did so much great TV work and guest spots. I know him from his work in the DCAU. They used him a lot as voicing DC characters and just in general. I mean, even outside of the DCAU. So he was so it was great. He always had like a great theatrical presence to him, and he really brought that theatricality to the role. Like he owns the space, and we put him in a little fez, and it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So Enter, I am Scorpius the Magnificent, in the fez and the robes, and clearly an LA fake. Let's be honest, clearly one of those fake psychics. Obviously, the episode hinges on like, is he real? Was it real? But it's still all the trappings that you understand Will's perspective here. Yeah, this guy's clearly fake, and we paid $1,000 for this. This is kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. So we have like some tricks. Like I love the pull up the chair trick, which is actually really cool. Like, oh, they all just kind of get pulled out there. Like Killer's just so taken. I love it when a man gets my chair. So something I've always loved about the episode is Will just mocking Scorpius to Uncle Phil. It's like one of the rare moments because many times they're at odds with each other.
Yeah, they're like totally on the same page in this situation for sure.
It's always delightful when you have those moments when the two of them are getting along like thick as thieves, and it's just really nice. I think he's been contacting one too many spirits. You know what I mean? It's like, just.
I'm sorry. That's a great, cute little gag, man.
Yeah, I know. It's
like just the way that Will Smith does the the pantomime like drinking.
Yes, I know. It's great.
It's the body language. The body language really sells it.
His physical comedy is so on point in this show, Tiki. I mean, you should see when he really goes off at times. It's just he throws the full body into it. All right, let's see. So they all join hands to contact Trevor from the other side. The table shakes. I recognize his vibrations.
Oh God! Oh, it's
an edgy joke, and I love it.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so then Glenn Shaggs again doing a flawless impression of Trevor, which again should be pretty simple given it's Ted Knight. All right, so let's see. And then like we'll say, hey, maybe you should ask Marvin Gaye what was really going on while you're at it. Like,
I appreciate that joke.
I know. That's of course, yes. All right, let's see. Again, Marvin Gaye. He had his anniversary this year too, so that's it's kind of timely given when we're covering this. All right.
Wait, was that the album that Sam recommended?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's Marvin Gaye.
What's going on? That's what I thought. Yeah.
Well, no. I'm sorry, not that song. I thought you meant like I don't know if it's on the same album or not.
No, what's going on is an album.
Right. Well, Trouble Man is Trouble
Man. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Right. Well, anyway, so the point being, though, Marvin Gaye's been coming back in the prominence thanks to the MCU between that and the end of Guardians. So people now know Marvin Gaye.
Of course.
That's cool. Anyway, big fan of Marvin Gaye. So cool stuff. All right. So let's see. So then again, Scorpius is getting into his groove here, and he's he tells Will to shut his pie hole, and then he breaks into the impression here of like, "Hello, Trevor." This is, "Hello, Hillary." It's nice to see. I wish I could see you too.
So that's the impression you were talking about?
Yeah, that's the impression. The whole language says, like, I think about you all the time, and I about you. And he does the deep kind of 50s, kind of like it's like a dumb yet kind of official voice, that sort of thing. It's like you can kind of get that he's a really dumb guy, kind of like David Putty, Patrick Warburton without the without the.
Now I will say the actor like kind of like putting on the possession is like he is selling it. Like I kind of dig the body language of how he's kind of like flailing about, like barely keeping his body together when he's when he's in the possessed state. I'll give him credit there.
As I was saying, man, Shaddix knew how to command the space when he had it. Yeah. So let's see. Okay, so basically before Hillary gets closure, gets the closure and says her goodbyes, which is the whole reason for the seance, she asks a very very materialistic question here, like, Trevor, there's something I wanted to ask you ever since you passed. What is it? Do you know where my black suede purse is? So this is really clever because this would have been the moment of truth here, where immediately Will calls baloney here, says, your black suede purse, because clearly if he's a fake, he'll have no idea where it is. Okay, but that's the thing. Like, we don't give him a chance to say it, which of course just gives him an out for, okay, well, I have an excuse not to answer that difficult question. I'm going to use Mr. Skeptic here to get out of Dodge. The connection breaks. Like, I'm losing it. And of course, Will just comes in perfectly with it. Like you ever had it. Oh boy. So then we have Scorpius here. He tries to upsell him. It's the old upsell scam. It's like, well, we lost the connection. We can try again next week. I can fit you in between an exorcism and step class.
Yeah.
So Philip, he calls BS. He's like, no, thank you. I'd like my $1,000 back, and then we reveal, I'm sorry, the spirits offer no refunds. He points to the side, like little sign pops out.
That's funny. That's clever.
This was a great set, by the way. I really liked this kind of psychic set, like all like the gags built in and everything. It was a lot of fun. So, and this is again what I've always loved to. Like, Will, he respects Uncle Phil. You know, he sticks up for him. Like, hey, maybe you should give my uncle's money back. Come on. Like, you know, he calls him fake. No one calls me the F word.
Oh God!
So he basically then goes. You know, Glenn Shax goes into overdrive here, like mole mole. He does the. he basically puts a hex.
I mean, he's basically like just the magician who's been dealing with the punk teenager calling out all his tricks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Then we have, you know, he does the, Will does like the itchy itchy baya, you know, from Voulez-vous coucher mon rock, you know, that song, the Marmalade song, that's what it is. So he does it back at him. Also, I love that they call him Scrupulous, which is, I think that's the pun with calling him Scorpius, because he's a very scrupulous kind of guy. All right, so anyway, we reveal that Will's been hexed, and you're going to bring evil and misery to all your loved ones until you're alone, and you'll be forever hexed. So let's see how that goes. So later, they all get back from the seance. Will's about to go off to his party. Ashley relays the events to Jeffrey about the seance and everything. Do you believe in curses and hexes and curses? And says, how do you think I end up here?
Oh God!
Wonderfully snarky. All right, so again, so Will's off to the party. He promises to practice safe hex.
Yes.
And I like this is the charm of the show, man. Where it's like, as much as Hillary's upset because you ruined my seance, Will, but Will buys it back a little. I think he redeems himself a little here, where he assures Hillary very tenderly, look, Hillary, wherever Trevor is, he loves and misses you, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Which is nice. And then Carlton's like, he's doubling down. He believes in the hex full force, and Will's messing with him here. Like, oh, it's ridiculous. Oh my God! Wait a minute, Carlton. What's that hideous thing on your neck? What? Oh no, it's just your head. Never mind.
I also just like the delivery. Like, look, Macaulay. There's no such thing as a hex. All right.
So great. Look, Macaulay. Oh God! Someone could ever just reframe that, like someone do an edit of that, like to cut to Macaulay Culkin.
Look, Macaulay.
There is no X.
You know what I would do? I would cut to like a perplexed looking Macaulay Culkin on like Red Letter Media or something.
Yeah,
that's what I would use.
Yep. All right, let's see. So the phone rings just as Will says, look, Macaulay.
Yeah, very ominous phone call.
Yes, and this is a bad phone call, kids. So Philip, he gets essentially over the phone. He gets, and you can hear how upset James Avery is. Like, what? So he's been accused at this point. So Philip, he started as a lawyer. He became a judge the course of the show. So at this point, he's a judge. He gets accused of taking bribes on the stand, and essentially, even just with the accusation alone, his career is ruined as a judge, which then leads to one of the hallmark moments of the episode. Carlton doing the Macaulay Culkin, like, ah!
That's great. That's classic.
Doing the scream.
Because what I really love about that is that it is like it could have turned into like a genuinely like really serious moment, but then the Carlton scream kind of just like brings it down to earth. It's like, all right, we know that by the end of the episode things are going to be fine.
Exactly. So now we enter Act 2, the next morning after Halloween, and we enter kind of the bizarro world of the hex, I like to call it.
Uh-huh.
All right, so poor Uncle Phil, just the man, like he could get up, he could get up to 10 years if this, even though he's innocent, if he's found guilty.
It's a very dire situation. It really is.
I know it is, and we for a fact know Phil's never done like a bribe. He's as honest as he comes. So then
Carlton comes out, and his hair's not looking great, Dragon.
I think one of the great lines of the episode is, "I look like a snow cone." Because he does. His hair looks like a snow cone. It's like,
it does. Wow. It's a very accurate description.
Yeah, it looks like a rainbow snow cone. So yeah, and they're all like, "Oh my god, what happened there?" So then Carlton's thinking it's the hex, and it's, "Oh come on, Carlton, it's that gold stuff you sprayed in your hairs, but I washed it out." So the next, and this is basically this. I love the energy of this scene. This is honestly Act Two is the reason I love the episode particularly. It's just like all this, all these kind of hexes gone wrong here. So the next horror is Ashley's being attacked by the tennis ball firing machine. And they save Ashley, has now has a sprained ankle like the day before tournament. But then here's a heady gag, Tiki. I don't know if you're aware of this. This is a trippy gag. So Will comes out with like a frying pan, mimicking playing tennis, and he hits the ball back. What do you mean that was out? That was in. And now he's playing Serena and Venus Williams' dad in that biopic.
Oh wow, yeah. I didn't really pick up on that, and obviously there's no way that they could have known that at the time. But
of course not. Just go.
But yeah, it is kind of heady how that comes about. Yeah.
So what else goes wrong?
Oh God, let's see. So many things. I don't know what else. Dragon.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, what's up with him?
Jeffrey is accosted by INS, and then. Not the girl of his dreams.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. It's just like that barely even makes sense, right? It's like, what is he, British? Like,
yeah, he's English, yeah.
So it's like, why would, I don't know, it's just like that does not seem like the first, the first country that would be like, hey, you're not allowed in America.
Yeah, we love the Brits.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, things are just like I said, it's this episode just very much has this build of like just oh man, really rapiding up the bad shit that's going on. You must be the woman of my dreams.
Slap some handcuffs on him. You are.
That's great.
Oh, before that, this adds like so I love this. The energy of the scene too. Before we get to that bit too, I first remembered this. So, like Carlton's like saying Ashley got attacked by the tennis machine. It's like the energy of the scene just feels like this has to be a dream to a degree. Like it's just really exaggerated.
Right. Yeah. Even the way that the tennis machine is just going off. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like things are a little exaggerated as we get to with the next bit of the hex, but also like Jeffrey's just kind of has this random reveal of like, oh, I heard someone scream. I thought you saw that Polaroid of me in the tutu. It was New Year's Eve. It's crazy. So then they hear. So we have this line always stuck with me. Again, you know me, I love me some James Avery. So this moment always stuck with me because it's such a genuine moment amidst the hilarity.
I don't know what to believe anymore, Will.
I know, it's just like, come on, they're all turning on me. He turns to Uncle Phil.
That's pretty much like a definitive, like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed kind of statement.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, it's Uncle Phil throwing his hands up in the air, like,
yeah.
It makes no logical sense, but I mean, it's like if he's given up, like, oh, all right,
my God. And then Vivian, the matriarch of the family. What's wrong with Vivian, Dragon? What's going down? Tell me, because I didn't really get the gag. I don't know who this guy is.
Really? You didn't recognize? Okay, so Vivian is his blood-curdling scream, like, Vivian! He runs to the other room with the whole family, and the biggest horror in the Bizarro Hex world, Hillary finally fell for Will's friend, DJ Jazzy Jeff, aka just Jazz in the show. Jazz, who is the running gag. He's just always like he's like the annoying neighbor but doesn't like live across from him though. He's like Will's friend, always shows up, always oversteps.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Dragon. I know nothing about this guy. That just goes to show you just how little of Fresh Prince have actually watched.
Well, I mean, in general though, like he's like kind of well known for being Will Smith's friend. I thought you might have heard.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
All right, no, that's fine. Well, the point being, Jazz, he's like a fixture of the show as well, but he's always hitting on.
But I love how it's just framed as just like the worst nightmare for Viv.
Exactly. So like Jazz is like he's the like kind of the layabout.
This breaks this poor woman, Dragon.
That's the thing. Like he's the layabout, the sloth that basically no one but Will and the family can really tolerate. And Uncle Phil is the running gag. Is that Uncle Phil constantly throws? We cut to a scene of him being thrown out of the house by Uncle Phil.
Uh-huh.
So that's the gag, and he always hit on Hillary, which obviously when Trevor entered the picture and all that sort of stuff. Eventually, Jazz got married in his own right, but the point being, it's like this is like the last thing that would ever happen because she's always repulsed by these advances. So like she's I think it's really fitting too in the episode that's about Hillary trying to move on from her ex-fiance, her dead fiance, more accurate. So it's kind of like her kind of closing the book on that. So it kind of makes sense. By the same token, it's like, oh my god,
it's like it's like pretty much the textbook definition of like settling.
Exactly, precisely. So then they reveal like, oh, we're engaged, and Philip is not happy. It's like, doesn't anyone care what I think? And they all collectively, no. Oh, he doesn't. That's why. That's why I've fallen for him, essentially. And then this is like, I can't. It's like he's sitting on her lap, and it's like, oh, I love you, Snookums. I love you too, Hillikums.
Oh God.
They do like the little hand. I don't know if a hand. I don't know what to call this. Like, it's not the handshake. It's like the little kind of like greeting that he and Will always do. Like, it's kind of like a high five and. Psh, that's what he always does to Will when he enters. So like it's spreading to the other members of the family now. The patented greeting, and oh god. So this is I can't wait to have a family with you. I was thinking we get started tonight on that. Oh, so that's God. It. So Phil, okay, that's it. He goes over, and this to me has always been the best part of the episode. We subvert the rule that's carved in granite for this show. Uncle Phil throws Jazz out, and then we just reverse the shot. To the point, Tiki, it happens so frequently that they had to use stock footage of. So many times when Jazz would walk in the house, he'd be wearing the same shirt from some stock footage, and that's how you would know he's going to get thrown out this episode.
Right.
Anyway, so we cut to the front door for a change instead of the back door. And Philip is thrown out by Jazz. We are in the Bizarro lands now, folks, and that's like the last straw for Vivian. It's like, okay, she's had enough.
So I love this is like the one moment in the episode where it gets genuinely like harrowing.
Yeah. I mean, what is happening? We're throwing James Avery out of the house, and now what about the opening? We're undoing the opening of the show. But just
the fact that she straight up gives up on Will, man. Like, she does not want to see Will. She does not want to associate with Will.
Yep. And this is like an end time situation.
Yeah, totally.
Like, we can't end the show now. We have 2 more seasons. We can't do this.
Be like grandpa and grandma like kicking Arnold out on the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think of how traumatic that would be.
Oh, it would be awful. so that's the thing. It's like, literally in the opening song, she's the reason that he's there. She's Aunt Viv.
Right, exactly.
His mother's sister. That's the whole reason he's there. She can't kick him out, or else the show's over. So, and I love, like, Will, and they break the fourth wall all the time on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and it's wonderful when they do that. So what we do here is kind of like a fourth wall kind of call out of basically reading, like, all of his redeeming qualities. Like, oh, Viv, Aunt Viv, it's me. The adorable, charismatic, sometimes troublesome, but overall wonderful young man you've all grown to love. And so again, he offers desperately to go back to the Scorpius's place to get the hex on, to get unhexed. So as this happens, Hillary and Jazz are going to go upstairs to start procreating, and just Carlton has this eerie. Again, it's like the little indication we're in a dream right now, because it's just a random bit. It's really funny. Just Carlton saying, "Hurry, hurry." Double takes, like, hurry. All right, so Will visits Scorpius's place, and something's off, Tiki.
Come on in, mother.
Yep, it's the psychic gimmicks are gone, and now Scorpius, he's all milquetoast. There's no LA crazy on him. You can't smell a whiff of it on the man anymore. He's Ralph Scorpius, which I'm shocked that is his name, but it's funny.
Dragon, this very much feels like a Goosebumps twist. It really does.
It is.
It's just like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on?
Again, I love Shaddix here. He just played like just this broad character, and now he's all tensed up and all just like he's just this weaselly.
Yeah.
He's just this milquetoast kind
of. A bit of a social commentary with with the black man just assuming that he's out to rob him.
Exactly, a little bit of that too. Yeah. So now, to be fair, some of that fear becomes justified when he starts to have his breakdown, though. That's where it begins. But yeah, that was before, though. You're right, though. So he gets freaked out, by Will's like, it's me, the vampire, itchy, itchy, bye, yeah. Which is like, why? Who is this black man I don't know, and why is he quoting Lady Marmalade to me?
Oh my
What is
God.
happening? And and it's always the
Moulin Rouge hasn't come out yet. That song hasn't had a resurgence.
yeah. So, and basically, as far as Scorpio is concerned here, he's like part of the Manson family, invading his house, and it's like just take what you want. He's just saying like random song lyrics. He's like a member of the Manson family, as far as he knows. So, just Fresh Prince is hilarious, as most hilarious when Will gets emotional and desperate and over the top with the emotional response here during his breakdown. Look, man, just break the hex. Just he's begging the man.
Hex, man. Just break the hex.
Why are you playing with me? Why are you playing with me? I don't want no vase. Just break the hex.
Oh, God, I love that. I don't want no face, man.
He's like offers him a vase of like the things like take anything, take this vase. Like he's just going, man. He's just punching this pillow and then. So as we punch the pillow, so basically Will's at the low point. Like it doesn't get any worse than this. Like there's no way to undo the hex, and he's just punching the pillow. And we do like a little dream wipe, little heart plan, and we reveal
Classic like 90s dream fade.
Yep, sitcom classic. And we transition to the pool house where Will's been sleeping. And we don't know what day he's sleeping, but if you look, the pajamas are eerily similar. But then again, we can wear pajamas more than one day in a row. Who knows? So Will wakes up in a cold sweat here, and it's morning. Carlton wakes him up. Will, you're having a nightmare. Oh, so it was all a dream, folks, or was it? It was all a dream. And I'm like, Carlton, you're here. Hey, buddy, what kind of dream are you having, Mister?
God.
So, Tiki, this reminded me of this moment from. Of course, I don't have the scruples myself to watch these movies all the way through, but I remember in the documentary for the Nightmare on Elm Street films, there was this scene where in one of the movies, they basically get caught in a loop in a nightmare. As in, like they played the same scene again in the movie. It was like that eeriness that kind of happens.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with the Elm Street movies myself, but I know what scene you're talking about.
Yeah, it was a really good, like kind of like a new way to do like the dream, the nightmares in that movie. It's just to see the film looped again, and that's pretty much kind of the terror you have here upon the realization. It's funny as it is, also kind of terrifying. It's kind of psychological. It's deja vu. It's like a deadly version of deja vu almost, where we have the same.
It's kind of like the Happy Death Day. You know how they weaponize Groundhog's Day in that movie. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. So Will walks in the same pajamas. They're getting breakfast as they walk from the pool house to the kitchen.
These are like a little too familiar.
And then basically we reveal they're reliving the exact same opening to the episode. So so you're in a sitcom, and then you just realize, oh God, I'm in the cold open again. So just the horror of discovery here, as like the dialogue, is eerily the same. They're talking about the flowers and stuff, and then I love this. Will just desperately tries to change the script with different topics and everything. Let's talk about the Lakers. It's like. But it's a no-go, and then when Jeffrey makes his comment, "Oh, what's normal around here?" and his boy, he's just starting to freak out. And then Hillary enters, and Will panics and runs to the door. I want out! Let me out! It's just like, guess who I'm going on a date with tonight? It's like Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike. Just all these sitcom character names.
Trevor.
Just perfect way to end the episode is that eerie Halloween kind of disquieting end of like, oh boy, here we go again. Endless. That's the real hex. It's an endless loop of desperation.
Right. Right, and then we get a blooper reel of Carlton trying to say the that'll cut into my trick or treat time.
Yeah.
All right. So, Dragon, I was delighted by this, man. I really need to, I'm absolutely going to, the next time I'm sick or in bed or just need to pick me up, I'm absolutely going to just comfort watch Fresh Prince. I mean, it really does feel right up my alley as far as just comfort food sitcoms are concerned. And, like, honest to God, guys, like, it really is kind of shocking to me that I genuinely do not think I've actually sat down and watched an episode of this show. like most of what I know of it is just based on pop culture osmosis and that alone. Like I know the Carlton dance, I know James Avery's really beloved in the show, I know the big father moment. That's about it. I didn't even know about the butler, so that shows how much I know. But yeah, Dragon, I'm very much, I honestly think, I probably say this every year, but I honestly think this is yet another, like, rock-solid inclusion and a great lineup that we got going on for Haunted Holiday Hijinks. So I'm excited to get near the end of it and kind of, like, reflect on all our selections, because I think we've had a really good itinerary this year.
I think so, too. We'll see how we feel about it when we wrap up, but so far, yeah.
All right. Any other final thoughts on your end?
Oh, I'm glad you liked it. I'm hoping maybe this might change your tune on doing that one Fresh Prince episode for another holiday thing we do.
Oh, it probably will. Yeah, absolutely. We'll be doing that next year, probably.
All right, so but again, this has always been one of my favorites. Still holds up. Just a great watch around Halloween for obvious reasons, and it was. It's still just hilarious. And actually, when I rewatched this, I went back and I watched The Amazing. And here's what you should do, man, with your binge. Okay, so after you finish, you should then watch the reunion special, because the reunion special is amazing.
Oh, I heard. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I rewatched the reunion.
Probably a lot better than the Friends reunion.
Oh, it was. It certainly was. Yeah, I mean, after I watched took the notes and watched
the Friends reunion basically felt like propaganda.
Yeah, this was the Fresh Prince reunion was not that. It was emotional. It was like, I mean, like it wasn't really necessarily reinventing the wheel, but there were pathos when it started. Like you if you watch the show, and after you watch it all, you'll be sucked in. You'll get a little emotional, I like to think. But sure. I watched that after this because I was in a Fresh Prince mood, and that's the thing. I got other things to binge. At some point, I might re-binge it myself. Who knows? But this. Hex and the Single Guy brings out the best, and it kind of comments on the show once you know the old familiar trappings, but still something to be said for it holding up on its own, just being like a good entry point into a little taste of Fresh Prince.
All right, folks, that's the end of tonight's spooky selection, and our spirits grow weary, but they'll be stronger than ever next time as we engage in even more Haunted Holiday Hijinks. Shut your mouth, Macaulay.
What kind of a trick-or-treat time?